Charlotte, Rock Hill, Gastonia, surrounding area, 704. Under construction is here with you on a Thursday. You know why? Kaiser, it is a beautiful day here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes,
History has been made today, man. Just go ahead and throw it up real quick, man.
bring them out. Bring them out.
QB1 is back, y'all. Yeah, Cameron Jarrell Newton has agreed to terms with the Carolina Panthers today. He is back. The excitement, you can feel it in the air. You know, the haters are out too, man, but we ain't going to discuss that too much, man. Kaza, we're going to jump right into it, brother, man. Just tell me how you were feeling when you got the notification that Mr. Newton is back with the Carolina Panthers.
I couldn't believe it because we had talked about it tongue-in-cheek on the show, saying the week after last, we said,
Right.
hey, there's only 2 phone calls the Carolina Panthers need to make. And one of them is Cam Newton's agent.
Yep.
I guess they did. You know, it not even talking about it in a football sense yet. We'll get to that.
Yeah, right. I think we need to save some of that too for Sunday. Yeah.
What this means for the city, you know, someone said that when Cam Newton was quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, you always felt like you had a chance to win every week, no matter what, no matter how bad the team was.
Right.
You felt like you had a chance because Cam Newton was playing quarterback. And
Right.
I think that we have that again. No matter how much this moves or doesn't move the needle, you just feel like, you know, you just feel like, hey, Cam's back. He gonna find a way.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, man, before I get to like how I felt about Cam Newton, man, let me tell you how I felt when that notification popped up and it said we signed Matt Barkley.
I didn't do that either.
We're not gonna spend too much time on this, obviously, man. But I looked at that, and the first thing I thought was that is a direct slap in the face to Cam Newton. That's the first thing I thought. I there's no way I could envision Matt Barkley, who's been on someone's practice squad for the last 2 years, being our starting quarterback. There was only one move to make. It made too much sense to go out, get on your knees, and beg this man to come back. Before I go on, I do want to say, Kaiser, salute to you, brother. Salute to Perlar. Salute to any other vets who may be watching, man. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, brother Vince. Yep.
Yeah, man, brother Vince.
JG. I mean, we got a lot of vets.
We can go on and on, man. So any under construction family that are vets, man, please salute to y'all. Happy Veterans Day. But back to what I was saying, man, I'm looking at us signing Matt Barkley, and I'm just thinking to myself, that cannot be it. Now, going forward, man, or actually going backwards, there were a lot of people with intel to the Panthers, a lot of people who are so quote-unquote in the room, so to speak, who said we would never see Cam Newton back. You know what I mean? David Tepper and Matt Rule would die before they signed Cam Newton. They didn't want to admit that mistake. What do you think? This is kind of probably a stupid question. What do you think led up to Tepper and Rule saying, you know what, we got to kick the can on this, man. We got to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to know who sparked the, hey, maybe we should look at Cam. Because, I mean, realistically, we talked about this last week on the show. What are your choices?
What are your choices?
Sam Darnold's probably not going to come back for the season with a fractured scapula. I mean, they're saying he's out for a few weeks. But there's only, 8 weeks left in the season?
Right. So, the diagnosis is 4 to 6 weeks. So, I mean, that's probably.
And that's actually a fairly serious injury, even though it's only an incomplete fracture. I mean, you come back too early from that, you risk not being able to throw a football again. I just don't see him come back for the rest of the season. So then your hopes fall on P.J. Walker, who I want to be very realistic about P.J. Walker. I like P.J. Walker a lot. I felt like every preseason he's shown something. Of course, he was really good in the XFL. But I don't think he's the guy.
No.
I just don't think he's the guy. So,
I mean, and look, man, I'm not trying to be overly negative, Debbie Downer when it comes to him, but even the game he won, that starting quarterback, he turned the ball over 4 times, man.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, it's like, so what do you do? Who would you rather lose with? Cam Newton or Matt Barkley?
Right.
The answer is obvious, and so you go out and you swallow your pride and you get him. And I was watching the Pat McAfee show earlier, which is like one of the few sports shows that I actually watch, and they said that their sources told them that there was a big come to Jesus meeting with Tepper, Cam, and Matt Rule. They had to clear the air.
Yeah.
And then now they're good and they're ready to move forward. So
happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think that's great. Tepper swallows his pride and says, "Look, if I can't," Tepper's like, "Look, if I can't win games, I'm gonna make some money because good luck getting a ticket. Not this coming, the next Sunday to Bank of America Stadium. Good luck."
Speaking of that point, you kind of brought me to what I was going to say next, man. If you look at like the air in the stadium the last, I don't know, season and a half to 2 seasons, it's not the same. Let's just keep it simple. It's just totally not the same. I've had a couple of close friends of mine go to Panthers games and leave at halftime. Like,
right.
Sam Darnold looked like he sucked all the air out of the stadium Sunday, and it looked bad. I mean, the stadium was like a library. Can you imagine? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, they don't even give out footballs on touchdowns anymore. Not that they score a lot of touchdowns.
They don't score any. You can't give out touchdowns if you don't score them. So, and you can't give out footballs if you don't score.
So, yeah, but it's like, that was one of the things that fans look forward to. Cam Newton giving a little kid a football in the end zone, and that doesn't happen anymore. I was kind of hoping that even after he left, that would be a continued tradition with the team. And
right.
It was kind of like the players are like, okay, Cam's gone, so screw that. We're not giving out any more footballs. So yeah, I mean, there's got to bring – I think that part of the reason the Panthers are having these woes this season is because there's no energy in Bank.
Yeah, right.
Remember last season was COVID. There was no crowd. So now the crowd's coming back, but it's kind of sparse, even when it's sold out. And when they're there, everyone's just kind of like, blah, Sam Darnold. Yeah. That's not the case.
And look, man, again, we're going to save a lot of the football stuff for Sunday's show, man. But needless to say, the connection that the fans have with Cam Newton is a special connection. He's the only MVP Charlotte has ever seen. He's the most charismatic athlete Charlotte has ever seen. Aside from football stuff, it's almost like family coming back. Am I making sense? Like, for better or for worse, Cam Newton probably is not coming into the best situation. Let's be clear about that. But it's not even going to matter to fans. Like when they do that introduction next Sunday and dude comes out the tunnel with the number 1 raised up.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. And like Chris just said, Ron Rivera coming to town that game. Oh my God, it's going to be crazy.
Hey man, does it feel like there's a weird synergy with Charlotte going on right now? Let me explain. Cam gets re-signed today. Kimba's coming to Charlotte tomorrow. Not coming back to the Hornets, to be clear. Kimba's coming back to Charlotte tomorrow. Ron Rivera coming back next week. It's just a weird synergy I can't really explain, man. I don't know what's aligning with the Charlotte Stars, man.
It's like a vibe where, Charlotte needs this. Charlotte sports needs this.
Definitely.
Because we're not getting wins. So let's get some. And I want to be clear about something from a football standpoint. I don't think Cam Newton makes the Panthers better, but not drastically enough to where we're like, okay, finally that
right.
I mean, quarterback is still going. That's something the Carolina Panthers are going to need to address for the long term. I don't think Cam's in anyone expecting MVP Cam. Don't.
Yeah, right.
Don't set your expectations that high. That's not what you're going to get. I just think that at the very least, if Cam Newton can be game manager Cam, which is kind of what Norv Turner and Bill Belichick was trying to turn him into, Panthers would be okay. Defense super competitive. In fact, despite this, how terrible they've been in the last 2 months, they're still the number 2 defense in the league.
Right. So look, man, let me interrupt you real quick. Because this is a question that has to be asked. We are technically still in the playoff picture. Look, as bad as it has been, as bad as it is, The Carolina Panthers can still technically make the playoffs. Here's a question I want to ask you. With this signing, is this signing? Was this a move to make a push toward the playoffs, or was it a move out of desperation, or was it a move to put butts in the seats? What do you think about that?
All three.
All three, right?
Because who do you think you have a better chance of winning with? Cam Newton, PJ Walker, or Matt Barkley? I mean, the answer is simple. And let's be very fair about Cam Newton. If he had been vaccinated, he'd still be a New England Patriot. He might not be starting for that franchise because everyone felt like at some point they were going to hand the keys over to Mac Jones. But the narrative that Mac Jones outplayed him, and that is absolutely not true. That is
I don't get that.
Super false. At best, they were equal in the preseason. So that narrative doesn't fly. So I think that if you bring Cam, and we've seen Cam, we saw Cam do that with the Patriots. I mean, they were terrible last season. Remember, half their players did not report because of COVID. They didn't have any receivers. They didn't have anybody.
Right?
And they still went 500 with a bad Cam Newton. If he could drag that team to 500, I think that he could make the Panthers where they could stay competitive. Our defense is really good.
Yeah.
And, the schedule gets a little bit easier after the Cardinals. We play the Falcons again. Falcons, Washington football team, and it doesn't get hard again until we play the Bucs, Saints, and then Bucs at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So I think they felt like, okay, we invested in Stephon Gilmore. We made a trade for C.J. Henderson. We want to win games.
Right.
And we cannot win games with Matt Barkley or P.J. Walker. But we could win games with Cam Newton.
Yeah. I'm thinking about this as I'm talking, man, and the Tank crowd must be really mad today because like I know, there was probably a good portion of our fan base who was just like, let's just lose the rest of these games, man, and get somebody who probably won't help us. You know what I mean? But again, going back to my prior point, we're still in the playoff race, and I mean, there was literally no other option to even get a little bit better. You get what I'm saying? Matt Barkley doesn't make us any better. PJ Walker doesn't make us any better. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like the stars just kind of lined up today, and we got what we got today.
Imagine if the Panthers sneak into the playoffs with Cam Newton at the helm.
Say that again.
I said, imagine if the Panthers do sneak into the playoffs with Cam Newton at the helm. The NFL wouldn't know what to do. People would be falling from the sky. It would be chaos. Cats and dogs living together. People wouldn't know how to handle themselves.
Yeah. Now one thing I want to also talk about is exactly how long do we think it'd take for Cam Newton to be inserted. We got to understand this dude got signed like today. Today, literally, right?
Yeah.
I don't have intel. We don't have intel on these kind of things, but I don't expect to see Cam Newton play Sunday. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it brings me to a point where I saw an article by Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick, very well respected journalist, should be a GM in the NFL, all that jazz, man. He was basically saying that now from this point, Cam Newton and the Panthers need to be on the same page, not just emotionally with the come to Jesus moment that you mentioned, but they got to be on the same page football wise. You know what I mean? This team has a struggle for an identity offensively, to say the least. I mean, that's putting it nicely. And it's so important for Rule and Cam to really be on the same page and establish some type of scheme and identity. And that's kind of what I worry about a little bit, man. With Cam just being signed today and we not having a lot of time to really do that. You know what I mean?
This is tough because Cam Newton, do you make Cam Newton adjust to your scheme, or do you adjust your scheme to?
I'm going to answer your question with a question. What did Rob Chizitsky do his first year with Cam?
He completely changed the Carolina Panthers scheme to adjust for Cam Newton's abilities.
Matt Rule better take note. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. I think Bill Belichick did the same thing last season. He said, okay, Cam Newton, we're going to run the ball because he's the best running quarterback, one of the best in history. The Carolina Panthers need. Now, that don't mean run Cam into the ground.
Right. We don't need that episode again. Yeah, right.
Yeah, don't do that. But I do think Joe Brady got to be happy. This opens up the playbook because now the defense cannot be honest anymore. The defense has to be honest now. Carolina Panthers can go back to cheating when you have the last full season Carolina played with Cam Newton, which was people forget we went to the playoffs and lost to the Saints. That was Cam's last full season. The Carolina Panthers were number 10 offense in the NFL, and that was what Christian McCaffrey's first. That was his rookie season. I think you have an opportunity here if you're Joe Brady to open up the playbook and see how much of Cam is left. At the very least, people want to talk about Cam Newton's still not accurate, although his last few seasons, even last season, his bad season, his completion percentage was higher than it was when he was in Carolina. His last few seasons with North Turner, he threw for 68%, which if you told me that Cam Newton was going to throw for 68%, I'll call you a liar. But he did that. He threw for 65% in New England. So we know that he could do the check downs. We know he could. The question is, can he still go downfield? Of course, right. like he could, but he may not need to with McCaffrey. I know Robbie Anderson's happy. DJ Moore's happy. That's Cam was his quarterback his rookie season. We might just see a different spark to the offense only because Cam is back there.
Right. And you talk a lot about how like the defense can't really cheat anymore because they have to pay so much attention to Christian McCaffrey. But now you got to pay attention to Cam's legs. Now, again, we don't want to run this guy into the ground and have that episode all over again. But I say that to say, man, I can't wait. The last time we saw Cam and McCaffrey together, we didn't see enough of them because of injuries. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Now we have a chance to see both of these dudes on the field at the same time, and we get to see exactly, the problem that a defense might have covering those two guys. Now, I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, someone asked if the curse has been lifted. This is like, remember The Color Purple where Seeley curses him? Right by me. And then what
you were not gonna do.
and then when Mister gets Seeley's sister back, everything's fine for him at the end. This could be like the Carolina Panthers version of The Color Purple.
I hope so, man. Because again, not to be Debbie Downer, there's 2 second-round picks out the window now, man. So something's got to give.
Yeah. I still hate that, but I know CJ Henderson's been dealing with some injury as well. So we gave up picks for him as well, and then we gave up picks for Sam Darnold. Luckily, the draft class next year is not projected to be all that deep in the areas that we need help, which is offensive lineman and quarterback.
Yeah.
So, maybe we stumbled onto some good luck here.
Yeah. Let's see, man. With Cam coming back today, I have this picture in my head of how the first home game is going to look versus what we've seen, this past season, man. And just the excitement in the building. And I'm really just hoping and 2 weeks is a really limited time to kind of catch Cam up to speed for him to be the starting quarterback in 2 weeks. I don't even know, how realistic that is, but I'm really hoping somehow that works out.
It's not going to be this week, Panthers fans. It's not, but PJ Walker, his leash is going to be like this.
It should be.
And especially that first game back home, if PJ Walker is starting, which he very may well be, boy, is his leash going to be super short. The fans are going to be breathing down Matt Rule's neck the first time PJ Walker throws an interception, and he will. The first time he throws, boy, if you don't get Cam Newton in the damn game, yeah.
I mean, you kind of bring up a good point, man. Like that Washington game, I could just see that as a total distraction. Honestly, dude, I could literally see that as a distraction for the whole team. I mean, and not no through no fault of Cam Newton's. Don't get it twisted, man. But who, we know why most of those fans are going to be there. You know what I mean? Like they're there to see QB1, man.
Yeah, it's weird because there's a lot of debate over, Charlotte's sports history is barely 30 years old now.
Right.
So going all the way back to the Charlotte Hornets in 1988. So there's a lot of debate over who the best athlete in Charlotte's 30-year history is. And there's a lot of names you could drop. Larry Johnson, superstar, Alonzo Mourning,
Right.
Luke Kuechly, of course, Cam Newton.
Steve Smith,
a lot of guys. But nobody has been more polarizing or as impactful as Cam Newton. I don't care what anybody says.
It's hard to argue that.
People come to see Cam Newton. I don't know if anybody in Charlotte sports history brought crowds like Cam Newton did, just being a Carolina Panther. I just don't. And it's going to be the same. That's why everyone's so excited. Everyone's
right. Right.
Plus, we get to see Cam. The biggest issue with Cam leaving was he just didn't leave on his own terms. Cam Newton's had a good career. If it's over for him, it's over. And then he can say, hey, Carolina, thank you for the years of service. My time here is done. He didn't get to do that. He was kind of ushered out the door.
Yeah.
After the organization told him that, well, Cam is our guy. I remember Matt Rule. I can't wait to start working with Cam Newton. And then the next week, he's waived after free agency ends. So, there's no team is going to pick him up because they've already picked up their free agents and signed their draft picks.
Right.
That situation just left such a bad taste. This is a chance to wash it out.
It's so ironic, man, because it kind of appears as if you have two parties who needed to put their egos to the side and say, you know what, this is best for both of us. Because think about it. Cam, for better or for worse, wasn't playing for anybody else this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
It kind of appears as if the Panthers were his only choice. And with Tepper and Rule, Cam was obviously the best choice. So, again, it's like two parties saying, you know what, let's suck it up and just get this done, man. And I want to address a question in the chat, man. I think this is Rodney in the chat saying, is this the end of Sam Darnold? I say yes, either way, honestly. I think whether Cam Newton performs or not, I don't think we see Sam Darnold anymore.
It's too early to tell. I know that sounds crazy to say. Only because the Panthers have made a considerable investment. They made a bigger investment in Sam Darnold than they did Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
they could let Teddy go because it was just a financial investment. After next season, they're done paying his contract. Sam, they extended him, or they picked up his 5th-year extension anyway.
Yeah,
and they gave him 2 draft picks for him. They're always going to say, man, that first 3-4 weeks of the season was, let's be fair to Sam Darnold. He was really good. Only quarterback in Panthers history to have 3 straight 300-yard games.
And then he fell off a cliff really bad.
The league in rushing touchdowns during that time, during the first 4 weeks of the season, and then just ran to, I don't know, nobody knows what happened.
Right.
He
just ran to the cliff.
Honestly, he probably been nursing that shoulder injury and didn't say anything about it. The O-line got that man killed. That's what happened.
Kind of like a QB that was here before.
Yeah, and then Cam Newton got a lot of shit because a lot of people said, well, if he was injured, he shouldn't have been playing. But these are professional athletes. They make millions of dollars. If they want to play, they're going to be like, nah, coach, I'm ready to go.
Right.
So the team is going to look at that when they evaluate Sam Darnold at the end of the season. They're going to say, can we get that version of Sam Darnold back? They may say, yeah, of course we can. At least we have to try. What are our other options? They will go hunting for a quarterback this season, though. Russell Wilson will be a free agent. Seattle is not the same Seattle.
Right.
He
has his old GM here.
Has his old GM here? Exactly. Will have a top-notch defense. Last time Russell Wilson had the number 1, number 2 defense, he went to 2 straight Super Bowls.
It is linked to North Carolina with the NC State.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. In fact, I fully expect David Tepper to go all in on the Russell Wilson sweepstakes this year. And you know what? That would be a great transition for the Carolina Panthers to go from Cam Newton to Russell Wilson. Both of those guys have very similar play style, electric kind of play styles. Very mobile quarterbacks. Russell Wilson doesn't have the arm strength. I don't even think now Russell Wilson has the arm strength that the current version of Cam Newton has, but he's more accurate. He's got a lot more touch on the ball. I think that's a good move for Carolina to make in the offseason. And that would certainly, of course, spell the end of Sam Darnold there.
Right. Now, I mean, before we get out of here, man, this is a question I probably should have asked earlier, but, I've been quoted on probably last week, so just saying that I don't know if I want Cam Newton to come to this mess because obviously with this offense, the quarterback was obviously an issue. That's Captain Obvious statement. But we've seen that this offense is like dysfunctional from top to bottom. With that being said, what is our level of concern with Cam coming into this quote unquote mess?
I need 2 people in the chat. Name the 3 starting wide receivers for the Carolina Panthers in 2015, 2016. Name them. Name the starting wide receivers for the New England Patriots last season. Name
right.
Them. Cam Newton has worked with bad teams before. I'm not saying that he can drag this offense to the playoffs like he's done in the past, but I don't think that my concern with that is that if Cam plays poorly because the offense sucks, the narrative will be what?
Cam sucks. I told you we should have got him.
Cam trash. I knew.
Cam trash. We knew it. We knew it all along.
So, so yeah, that's my only concern. I did hear on the Marcellus Wiley show, Speak for Yourself. They were talking about it earlier, and they brought up a good point where sometimes a player can live on with their what if legacy. You take a guy like Colin Kaepernick, who they use as an example. We'll never know what kind of quarterback Colin Kaepernick could have been if he had been able to come back into the league.
Right.
Even though the San Francisco 49ers weren't winning, Kaepernick was playing a lot better at the time that he was released.
Right.
So we'll always be able to, Kaepernick was pretty good, but what if?
Right.
Well, we can't do that with Cam Newton. There is no what if. He's back now.
He's back. He's here. We're here now. Yeah.
So if he doesn't perform well, then everyone will say, well, yeah, we knew it.
Yeah. All right, man. Look, we're gonna get out of here, man. Before we go, man, I just want to shout out the Charlotte Hornets. We finally won a game last night, man. Thank God. We needed it, man. Charlotte sports in the last 24 hours has gotten some blessings, to say the least. Hopefully the Hornets can get another dub on Friday. It'll be tough on Sunday. We have the Knicks tomorrow and Golden State on Sunday. We'll be covering the Knicks game when we see you guys on Sunday. We also will be covering the Panthers and Arizona Cardinals game. Hopefully that is another dub coming. We will see. That's going to be hard as well. Before we go, man, any special shout outs on this random Thursday?
I'm going to oblige some people in the chat. I am going to shout out Malik Monk.
Hey, man, look, Monk had a great game last night. God bless him.
I'm glad. If he's happy in LA, I'm happy for him.
Right.
That may be more his speed because LA is not as structured as the Charlotte Hornets were. The Charlotte Hornets expect structure. Hey, no, I mean that's like not a. He's back with Dwight Howard now. Remember that was his boy when when Dwight Howard was here. They were good friends. I think maybe that fits him more. However, he's averaging 8.7 points a game. So don't at me about how he's balling out. And
right.
He had a great game. He's had a few great games. Had a really good shot against of a fluky shot, but a good shot against the Hornets that ended up kind of they needed that shot. If they don't get that 3-pointer,
Yeah.
From half court. They don't win the game. So I'm gonna shout out Malik Monk and his 8.7 points a game. Also want to shout out Kelly Oubre.
37 last night.
Who broke Malik's record for most points off the bench against the Memphis Grizzlies. I also want to shout out all the people that said the sky was falling after we lost by 60 points to the same Memphis Grizzlies in preseason. No one cares about preseason. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'll say this. Looking at that game last night, I think the Charlotte Hornets were the better team and looked like the better team on the floor.
Hopefully we get the same thing tomorrow, man. I don't have a shout out. I'm really tired of biting my tongue with this announcement we have coming up, man. I still can't say anything just yet. I still can't say anything. But for anybody who may have missed Sunday's show, I am teasing an announcement that we have that is coming really, really soon, man. I cannot say it because it's not finalized yet, but just know we have something special planned coming up, man. So now we'll announce that as soon as we can. Shout out to Rodney doing big things, man. Shout out to everybody who was watching tonight. Shout out to Charlotte. Damn it, we needed something. Thank God. Charlotte sports needed something. Shout out to all the fans who are just as excited as we are, man. I'm Jamal, the Angry Black Fan. Kaza Sose. We're going to go ahead and sign off, man. We will see y'all Sunday.
Happy Veterans Day. Love y'all.
Peace, y'all. Happy Vets. Happy Vets Day.